joined in studio by Gabriel McSharry, medical herbalist and nutritionist. Good morning, Gabriel.
Good morning, Margaret.
Now, if you have a question for Gabriel, send it in to us now to 083 3500 530, which is our text number. You can call us at 0818 365 500. Now, this listener says that they suffer from a lot of stiffness in their shoulders. There are what they can only describe as knots in them. How can I prevent them?
Definitely a bit of stretching and exercise could be good here. And I mean, depending on their age and their level of mobility, everyone should really do some sort of stretching on a daily basis, in my opinion. Stretching's great, you know. Sometimes it can be nearly as good as going mad down the gym and so on if you just can stretch out the muscles. And you'll notice maybe dogs and animals, they always do it, you know. If they ever sit down and get up again, they'll always have a wee stretch before they walk off again. And
that's true enough, you can notice that.
Yeah, and we never do it, you know. In general, some people stretch before and after exercise. That's great, and that's what's recommended. But just in general, like even if some of the days you're not going out exercising, a good stretch in the morning to get you nice and loose. As a treatment for knots or stiffness, I mentioned before, I give a balm of herbal oils. It's like a rub, you know, an old-fashioned rub I make myself. It's just all herbal oils, and it's rubefacient, so it can draw circulation to the area. It can have a pain-killing effect and can reduce any inflammation. Could be left over from an injury, you know, but definitely stretching and exercise can help it.
And when they say knots in the shoulders, is that if you got a deep massage you can feel actually knots being loosened, or?
Yeah, well, I guess how
is that the muscles tightening up or something, or? Yeah,
well, it could be muscle, ligament, tendon. Between the shoulders, you have the blades there, and you've quite a lot of muscles there, and I think it's there's certain muscles there. It's a common place for pain because we don't use the muscles there that often based on our general lifestyle these days. Maybe it's because we sit a lot or we don't use exercises that use these muscles.
Mm-hmm. Could it be a posture thing then? So the way you're
definitely,
sitting
yeah, I'd say so.
Up.
Yeah, so definitely if you have a sedentary lifestyle and so on, stretching is really important. And there's some really good low impact practices like Tai Chi. I think is a great one. It's one I love myself. Yoga's great. Pilates, all these they're all I suppose like stretching, only a little bit more strenuous, but with anything you can take them at your own pace. But in general they're quite good.
Okay, this listener has a hoarseness in their throat, get it quite often, and not sore. What can they do?
Well, if it's not really sore, it may not be an infection. It may be just overuse and
talking too much.
Well, definitely
singing, maybe.
I mean, it's a thing, you know, and you see people who've had a big night out the night before, type of thing. They're hoarse in the morning because
we all
they're
know about that.
Talking
yesterday evening in the papers this morning.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're talking and maybe singing till all hours, and it leads to a hoarseness, just the overuse of the vocal cord. So definitely, if you have it all the time, you know, maybe you're overusing it a lot, and maybe a day a week, just give it a rest. And a few other things: avoid fizzy drinks and carbonated water, like fizzy water. These things can be harsh enough on the throat. Inhaled substance that would have toxins in them, like air fresheners, scented household agents, and like Yankee candles, these type of things, they're in my opinion bad for the throat and the respiratory system.
And the thing is, I think most houses now have scented candles and
air
fresheners, the plug-in ones, and you know, all the other various different ones.
Yeah.
But you certainly wouldn't be someone who would.
No, and I do use agents to as aromatherapy or as to put a scent in the house, in the clinic and that. But I use natural essential oils. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I put them into a diffuser, which kind of it's at a low heat. Or you could even just put a bowl of, say, boiling water and put a drop of an essential oil in the corner. I do have incense that I use, but it's like excuse me, like the candles, a lot of the incenses out there are cheap, chemicalized versions, but the old-fashioned incense that's just natural resin gums with essential oils are good. There is candles that are scented with just essential oils mixed with the wax and then formed into candles, but they're not the majority out there. The majority of them are ones that have chemicals, cheaper to make. They can mass produce them, and they're quite strong actually. I notice it a lot myself. When you use all natural scents for aroma, you'll notice that the chemical ones, you kind of know them straight away because they're extremely strong and overpowering in many cases, and in some cases I can nearly taste them. So go back to kind of more natural scents, and that's things like natural essential oils like pine, thyme, tea tree, eucalyptus. There's one called albus oil. These are all kind of decongestant oils, but they're also quite strong in aroma. And I guess it's horses for courses too. Whatever scent you like, then you should kind of go with that, in the house, because that'll suit you better. But I would use 100% natural essential oils for scent.
Okay. This listener suffers from bad breath. It's not their teeth or diabetes. What could be the cause, and anything that they can do to help?
Okay, well, it could be due to fermentation in the upper gastrointestinal tract. So between, say, your mouth and the top of the stomach. Sometimes with diets high in sugar. And this is, one of the reasons why they mentioned diabetes. Diabetics can have a scent of their breath, and it's generally due to fermentation as well. But say alcohols and sugars, they can ferment in the digestive tract as they move through, and if they do, they give off gas, and this gas then can create an odour, and it can cause halitosis, or this kind of odour of the breath. It's one of the reasons, and it's when you rule out dental health, if there's other symptoms like indigestion, heartburn, reflux, that can also indicate that it could be this fermentation in the upper GI tract. Could be a low-lying fungal infection in the mouth, like oral thrush as well. And it's the same principle. It's the thrush or a yeast or fungus produces gases as it ferments. So that's how it feeds itself. It needs to ferment to get energy, and uses sugars, grains, and alcohols and vinegars, like fermented stuff. That's what it uses as kind of food. So I'd assess for all that, and if it is a fungal infection, or say a candida or something like that, I give antifungal herbs as a gargle. So you gargle and swallow them, and do that for a period of time. See, does it improve? If it's reflux, indigestion, heartburn, I give more specific herbs for that. And we generally follow up and see, take out high sugars in a diet, take them out, watch all the alcohol.
Okay. All right. This listener says they had a bad back last year, went to an osteopath. They now have numbness in their left foot. Is it coming back, do you think? Or is it coming from the back? Sorry.
Can, yeah, definitely. It we'll just say, for example, you might have heard of sciatica, or this kind of label they give to this shooting pain down the leg. It can go down the leg, it can cross over the knee, down the lower leg, and then into the foot, and right up into near the toes. And you'd never think that it's coming from the lower back, but it is, because this big nerve, the sciatic nerve, runs the whole way down the leg and right up to the lower part of the spine. So if you have inflammation or a kind of an injury in the lower part of the spine that's impinging on that nerve, how it could present. It could present actually in the absence of pain in the lower back, and it can present in shooting pain down the leg and into the foot. So most definitely, if you had an injury before and you were getting physical therapy for it, it could well be that if your injury was in the lower back. And again, things like posture is important here. Lower back, lumbago, lower back injury or pain is, statistics are crazy, but I think it's one of the most common reason for absenteeism in employment worldwide is this lower back pain. And the signs are on it that it's our posture and the way we sit at our computer, and we tend to be sedentary. So if you are sedentary, the key is to counteract being sitting for 6 to 8 hours a day by exercising outside of it. It's very important. Again, stretch and movement. Swimming's a great exercise. It's low impact. There's no gravity there, and the bike is great. And even if, for a person with a back injury that can't have high impact, like, say, running, yet needs to exercise the muscles and that, I know what they're using in the States, old people and that are using rebounders, which are like a small little trampoline, and just stand up on them in the house and I think hold on to a rail and bounce up and down, and the action and the vibration can massage the muscles type of thing, and it can be helpful again for any kind of back pain or arthritic pain, rheumatoid and osteo. I give a balm that works locally, and it relieves the pain and stuff like that, whilst you're following other lifestyle, diet and maybe herbal medicines to kind of get the underlying cause.
Okay, keep your questions coming in to us. 083 3500 530 is our text, and you can call us at 0818 365 500. We're back after the short break.
Proudly supporting our own Ocean FM. Ocean FM's Big Bernie Kane every Wednesday night for the best in Irish and American country music. Thanks to O'Carlin's Dewdrop in Lahey, where Tuesday night is live music night. That's Ocean Country with Big Bernie Kane every Wednesday night, with thanks to O'Carlin's Dewdrop in Lahey, County Donegal. On the Northwest's Ocean FM.
FM. Looking for car insurance without checking out Aviva is like looking for your spare tyre without checking the boot. So if you need car insurance, now is the time to contact Aviva. You'll get a price you'll like and a policy you'll love. And if you've passed your driving test in the last 5 years, you can save up to 40% just for passing ignition or 1 hour safe driving assessment. You also get loads of great benefits like breakdown, windscreen and personal belongings cover. To arrange your policy today, log on to aviva.ie or call us on 1890 33 22 11. Aviva, looking out for you. Aviva Insurance Europe PLC is regulated by the Financial Regulator. Terms and conditions apply. See aviva.ie for details. Cover available on comprehensive motor care and motor choice policies only. For ignition, you must drive a car of 1600cc or less.
Pet Stop, Pierce Road, Sligo and Ballina. 24 cans of dog or cat food, only €9.99. That works out at only 41 cent each. Only at Pet Stop, Pierce Road, Sligo and Ballina.
The Black Cat Cove Balik Thursday traditional session. All musicians welcome and dancing classes continue. Friday night live music with Jerry Singer, followed by Brendan Rooney. Saturday is Jimmy Gallagher. Sunday lunch served all day at the Black Cat Cove Balik.
Vitamin B12.
Connacht Gold. Vitamin enriched V Plus milk.
Folic acid is necessary.
A delicious low-fat milk enriched with calcium and folic acid.
Vitamin A is required.
Each glass provides 45% of your recommended daily allowance
Calcium
of vitamins A, B2 and E, as well as your recommended daily allowance
Vitamin E
for folic acid. Connacht Gold Vitamin enriched V Plus milk.
Vitamin B2
In
helps
your
break down
local store
carbohydrates,
now.
fats, and proteins in the body.
The Denture Doctor at Blue Apple Dental and Implant Team, Belcoo. We can help you overcome the daily problems of unstable, uncomfortable dentures. You can have a secure, confident smile and feel, eat and look great. Call 048 66 386 111 to take a step forward with Blue Apple's Denture Doctor and Fermanagh award-winning dental team.
Swan Song, the story of Ockie Byrne. A film by Sligo's Conor McDermott Rowe. Screening at Sligo's Key Street Car Park, Monday the 13th to Sunday the 19th at 6 and 8:30 p.m. See cinemanorthwest.com or local press for full details.
To have your say, call the Northwest Today comment line on 0818 365 500. Text your comment to 083 3500 530.
And you're welcome back to the programme. You can keep your questions coming in to us to 083 3500 530 or call us at 0818 365 500. And of course, we're in the company of Gabriel McSharry, medical herbalist and nutritionist. Now, this listener had gallstones and gallbladder removed a year ago. At night, I get a pain at the bottom of my stomach. The doctor says it's trapped wind, but it seems to be going on a long time.
Could possibly be, the pain you always had. Because I know when they follow up on gallbladder surgery, and to remove them, quite a lot of people can develop, or the pain can continue, and it can develop things like IBS as a result of it. So it may not have been the gallbladder initially, but not to say that that's not the case here. But if it's kind of bloating in that area, with all bloating, it's important to get the environment right of the digestive tract. So again, probiotics, watch the diet, watch high sugar diets, and I use certain herbs for bloating, same formula I use for kind of IBS type symptoms. Iberogast, it's 12 herbs mixed together, and generally the what to do is suppress the bad guys, so the bad microorganisms in the gut, bacteria or fungi, without kind of killing the good guys, acidophilus, bifidophilus, and all these things you get in probiotics. And you get them in natural yogurts, good quality yogurts, in my opinion, are the full fat whole milk, Glenisk and Yo Valley. They're good ones that are in the supermarkets. Probiotics you can get in a capsule, and see that they relieve it. In teas, the likes of there's a great tea I make for colicky children, but it also works really well for any kind of bloating or gastric distension or pain. And it's a blend of dried herbs, chamomile, fennel, licorice, glycyrrhiza, lemon balm, and filipendula, so meadowsweet. And it's a great formula and works really great for kids with colic at a certain dose, and it's great for adults too.
Okay, this message, good morning. What's the reason for a numb feeling down one side of my face, as if it's been pulled to one side, hand and foot? Was told it's not a stroke. I'm only 38 years old. No. So numbness of their face, hand and foot.
Well, I'm glad they've gone to the GP and ruled out a stroke or anything, any kind of palsy, which is kind of a paralysis of the face, So I'm assuming they've got clinically checked and they're fine, and they're looking for reasons. This sounds like something that'd be complex, and it's something I'd like to take a full case history on. But it could be some sort of nerve damage in the face. That's generally due to an injury. I know from the likes of an injury in the eye socket can cause numbness right over the side of the face and into the side of the head because of the way the nerves flow through the face. So if it is the result of an injury, then hopefully when the injury, the bone injury heals, the nerve impingement will go away. Topical oils like hypericum oil can be good for nerve damage. And apart from that, again, it's really something you'd need to take a full case history on.
Okay. Has Gabriel heard of a tea called lemon tea with apricot blossom? Have an underactive thyroid, want to take right food and drinks. Got this tea in an hotel, can't get the tea. Do you know where I could get it?
Well, with hypothyroidism or underactive thyroid, and to do with and again, it's a kind of an overall treatment where there's diet, nutrition, herbal medicines, and lifestyle. And so with diet, first off, she wants to know food and drinks that are good for it. Well, first off, I'd reduce things that could be bad for it, and we know that there's certain foods, goitrogens, that suppress thyroid function, and those with underactive thyroid should largely limit them. If not, maybe avoid them. But definitely limit them and not eat high amounts. And they're cruciferous vegetables. So vegetables of the cross mainly contain goitrogens, and they're cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, kale, Brussels sprouts, eggplant, and there might be a few others, or there might be one I put in there that's not one of them. It's just off the top of my head. But these things I reduce because of these goitrogens. Now, boiling and steaming does reduce goitrogen content, but it doesn't eliminate it. So that's things that to avoid. Things to include are certain sea vegetables, dilsk and kind of traditional sea vegetables we had in the Irish diet. They can be good for thyroid function, as well as certain herbs that I use, bladderwrack and kelps and that. And so that's things to add. With regards to tea, ginger tea is a brilliant tea. Ginger is an anti-inflammatory, ginger root, and it's warming. It's good coming into the winter as a kind of a blend in certain teas. I haven't heard of apricot blossom blended with it. It may be a kind of a speciality tea that's not quite common over the counter or in cafes. That maybe some of the high class hotels just had it, and it was a proprietary blend. But there is definitely good ginger and lemon teas out there. Kate's Kitchen in Sligo or Lions Cafe have these organic teas blended, and they can be really good for health. As to do with apricot blossom, it's not a common herb that you'd see in Ireland, and I'm just not too sure where you get that. But I'd go for the ginger lemon tea and see does that help? Touch it as well.
Okay, what can you do to heal a slight ankle sprain?
Well, definitely rest, and you need to keep the weight off it if it's sprained, and for a period of time. Topically, you can bathe it with this with hot baths. Would be good. Epsom salts baths can be good for it. But while you're resting, a few times a day, well, maybe 5-6 times a day, massage in comfrey oil. Comfrey is a herb, and oil of the comfrey will speed up healing. It speeds up meteosis, which will increase the healing in bone or fracture and so on. And I give a balm of herbal oils, again, the rub, arnica and menthol herbs and camphor, cajeput, clove bud. All these oils are really good for this type of injury, and they're great to put on while you're resting it up for a period of time until it's time to start putting a bit of weight back on it.
Okay. A 4-year-old child keeps getting kidney infections, eats and drinks well, good diet, but appetite nearly too good. She eats too often and too much. Any advice? Can you eat too often? I suppose you can.
Well, with regards to eating too often, again, it's something that I believe is horses for courses, and some people do well on 3 meals a day, but other people do well on 6 smaller meals a day, and that's perfectly fine in my opinion. So long as you don't be eating just before you get into bed type of thing, then that's probably not good. But I wouldn't worry so much with a kid at a big appetite. Recurrent kidney infections aren't good though, and it's definitely something you'd want to put a stop to. And right, I guess there's a few things here. One is immune system could be low. If one gets recurrent infections anywhere, it's an indication your immune system is low. And with that, then we've immunostimulant herbs and certain foods that can be good here. Watch high sugar diets. Specifically for cystitis or kidney infections, uva ursi, a herb called buku, zea mays, cranberry juice. Excuse me. Get 100% pure cranberry juice, and you can dilute it down a bit with water because it's very bitter to taste. But you don't need to drink loads of it. But it'd be good to drink 3 times a day and put it into a bit of water for the child. She may kick up because it tastes very bitter. Maybe mix it with another juice. But that can be beneficial too. And make sure she's taking a lot of fluids. Like with her carrying kidney infections, it's important to ensure that there's not dehydration there, and that she's flushing out the kidneys.
Okay, now this listener only gets 5 hours sleep at night. Is there anything they can do, and does yoga help?
Yeah, well, first off, there may be nothing wrong with 5 hours sleep. Some people can function fine on it. However, if they're only getting 5 hours sleep and they're awake, fatigued, they feel it's an unproductive sleep, then it's probably not enough for them. They're probably better off with more towards the 7 or 8 hours. And sleep is a big area. It's extremely important for health. If you have sleep troubles, it's extremely important that you address them. And in my opinion, sleeping tablets aren't the fix here, because you can build up dependency on them, and they don't give you a good quality sleep. They kind of zonk you out and you sleep. And it's like kind of passing out with alcohol. It's not a good quality sleep. You'll still be exhausted. So you don't get into that deep level of sleep, which is delta brainwave activity, and that's where you need to get to. So it's an overall thing. It's a diet. Again, this is why a case history is important for something like sleep, because there's no one size fits all here. In diet, things I assess is caffeine content and stimulants, alcohol, guarana, sugars, other type of stimulants that are there. People unawares could be having even a black tea or a coffee early in the day. If they're sensitive to caffeine, it can just go on, and it can hyperstimulate them, and can still cause problems. And then people that really should avoid caffeinated beverages, Cokes and that as well. Even dark chocolate has a bit of caffeine. So these are things for people who are sensitive. People who are less sensitive can get away with them earlier in the day and watch them at night. Herbal medicines can be brilliant, and there's a number of ones. St. John's wort is great for improving quality of sleep. So if someone wakes kind of tired and stuff, or have trouble but getting to sleep, I prescribe St. John's wort. It's just an excellent sedative, and it's traditionally used for insomnia and anxiety, and it's only of late, in the last 30 years, it's been researched for depression. And it's a very successful herb for it too. Lemon balm, chamomile, valerian. Valerian's a kingpin in Western herbal medicine. So I give valerian tablets, or sometimes the tincture, and can be very effective. But with all the time, I always give the herbs with diet and lifestyle advice, because sometimes if they're hyperstimulated and they're just not doing the right things, the herbs can be ineffective too. And what I mean by lifestyle is, your bedroom should really be in complete darkness. And they've done a lot of research in sleep labs and that, and they've even found that the small little light, say if you put your TV into standby, or a smoke alarm in the roof, or a mobile phone, or indeed an alarm clock, these lights can actually affect the hormones and neurotransmitters that are important to sleep, melatonin and serotonin. So it's important to sleep in total darkness. And on the flip side, it's important during the day to get as much natural light exposure as possible. So again, and it's coming into the time where the days are getting shorter. You can nearly go into work and it's dark, and when you come out of work, there's not much time light. And in work, then you're exposed to just artificial light. So it's very important for serotonin levels to get as much natural light exposure as possible on your skin. And serotonin is high during the day and melatonin is low, and that's the way it should be. But then at night it flips. Serotonin goes low and melatonin should go high. but how you get as much melatonin production is to be in total darkness. So if there's on-street lighting coming in through and you don't have the blinds pulled, or you might need blackout blinds, watch electrical appliances, knock them all off. If you get up to urinate in the night, try not to knock on the light. However, if you could fall down the stairs, by all means, use the lights. But my point is that when you do knock on the light, it ceases production of melatonin. And I think there's maybe if you got a yellow bulb with a certain type of blue light filtered out, then that's okay. You know, it gets a bit technical, but I think I have a few articles on it on my website. But yeah, so it's an overall approach to sleep. It's never one thing that, oh yeah, I added that and then I was fine. And it's but the point is, it's extremely important to normalise your sleep, because it's where all the repair work on the body is done, and all the repair work on the mind. You know, it takes things out of short-term memory, puts it into long-term memory, and it kind of deletes out stuff that it doesn't see is important for survival of the organism.
Yeah, but then not everyone needs to have the 8 hours sleep, do they? Like some people.
No, so again, it's the quality. Yeah, and this is only a lecture I heard last week by a physician in the States who's on the cutting edge of sleep therapy, and he specialises in sleep, and he said straight up, it's not the length of time you sleep, you know, so it can be deceptive where people say, oh well, I sleep the 8 hours or whatever. It's the importance is the quality of the sleep you get. So it works kind of like this, and I'm open to this, maybe a bit inaccurate, but I give it a go. In that, when we sleep, you know, your level of sleep can be measured by brainwave frequency, you know, so they attach these little nodes to your temples and to your head, and they can measure it on a monitor. And so alpha sleep is just when you kind of doze down, eyes are closed, but you're still aware of your environment. You can hear people talking, or you can hear the TV on, or whatever. And then there's REM, which is a deeper sleep, where you're not aware of people around you, and this is where you dream and stuff. And then there's theta sleep, and then there's delta, and delta is the kind of lowest level, and it's where the body goes into paralysis, and the only thing left going is the lungs and the heart and the brain to a certain extent, and the vitals. And everything else, so all the enzymes and cells and that work for digestion and work on the muscles throughout the day, stop, and they start working to repair organs and tissue. And at the same time, in this delta brainwave activity, the mind turns over memories from short-term memory to long-term memory, and it kind of it's kind of like a computer. It deletes out the stuff that it sees as rubbish, like if you watched a horror movie or something like that. Not so much deletes it totally, but it just doesn't see it as important. And this is again why, you know, some people who study to pull all-nighters and that, it's not the best idea at all. So that's it really.
All right, okay. Gabriel McSharry, medical herbalist and nutritionist, and thanks for joining us on the programme this morning. And indeed, you're back with us again next Wednesday morning, just after 11 o'clock. We're back after